city candidate forum, which is about a minute or so away. Our master of ceremonies tonight will be Justice of the Peace Dan Mueller, and we are getting very close to getting under but also assisting tonight here with the timing and the other protocols for this evening.
Good evening. Wow. A little loud. I'd like to welcome the candidates for the City Council here in Lagrange. It's nice of you folks to go ahead and think about being in the City Council, and that is, the governing body here in Lagrange making the decisions, and we hope that you enjoy the meeting here tonight. Get to meet a lot of people in the audience. After one answers, please don't start giving the applause. Wait till after it's all over and you just clap your little hands off. Tonight wouldn't be here unless it's for our moderator. Fayette County native as such, born and raised in the Schulenburg area, has a business here in Lagrange. In fact, it's a radio station up the top of the bluff, co-owner of that. Family man. He and his family live right close to the border over here, the county line. You get to really know him through the radio. He's the gentleman who worked us through COVID, letting us know the count, the daily activity and all, where to get the shots, how to get them, things of that nature. He was here and worked us through Hurricane Harvey, the flood, worked us through the, about a month ago, the cold weather, all of the closings, all of that. Our man is, multiple hats and all that. He loves what he's doing. He is an MC at a lot of events here in the county. The Round Top Parade, he kind of takes that over at Ellinger and various feasts and other opportunities. He's a Justice of the Peace, and I am very honored to introduce him as my friend, Justice of the Peace, Judge Dan Mueller.
You are kind, Ralph. You are kind. Thank you very much. I appreciate those kind words, Ralph. Whenever Ralph is needed in Lagrange for anything, he steps up to the plate. Ralph and his lovely wife, Marge, have been friends of mine for a long, long time, and their heart is certainly in the right place. I want to recognize and thank Chief David Gilbreth, Chief of Police here in Lagrange. David Gilbreth is here this evening. I want to recognize Gary Duchek, KBLG, KBUK Radio, and this is also being shown on the Facebook page as well. I want to recognize Mr. Andy Balin is here from the Fayette County Record fame. Are you doing this on Facebook as well, Andy? Okay, we appreciate that. I want to reiterate something that Ralph said. It really would be best if we hold our applause till the entire forum is over. If we get into applauding when certain comments are made, it'll be a little bit distractive. 2 minutes is what we're looking at. 2 minutes for opening statements, 2 minutes for each question, which there will be 5 questions, and then 2 minutes for closing statements. The candidates have been apprised of that format, meaning they're aware of the 2 minutes for opening statements, 2 minutes questions, 2 minutes closing answer, but that's all they've been aware of. They do not know the questions. In fact, no one knows the questions except myself. And as I explained to them, these are not going to be any questions where we are going to try to get into any personal things of that nature. KBLG, KBUK takes full responsibility of this forum and how it is operated. Anyone who wants to voice any complaint as to how this forum is formatted, you can talk to me after the event. We will rotate the order in which questions are asked so that no one candidate gets a question first or no one candidate gets to answer last. Questions will be asked of all candidates regardless of the office they are seeking. We have 3 mayoral candidates here tonight and 2 for 1 council seat. The candidates who are up for re-election, much like Mr. Ken Taylor was last year, he chose to be here, and we're grateful for him for being here. The 3 candidates who are up for re-election tonight and did not draw an opponent, they were invited to be here. I mentioned Ken Taylor is here. Also want to recognize Council Lady Patsy Zabronic. Prior to Patsy being a council lady, she was city secretary for many, many years. All right, with having said all of that, we're going to start with the opening statement. The opening statement will follow this pattern. Jan Dockery will go first. I had down Tex Parker here. He had told me earlier today he would be here. He is not. So Jan Dockery will go first, followed by Sarah Mabry, and then Sandy Hooper, and then Katie Gross. So the first opening statement. Again, the 2 minutes over here for you candidates. Mr. Rosenberg is going to raise this little flag here when you have 15 seconds left. And then he will raise the flag again when your 2 minutes have expired. Kathy, yes, okay. Kathy Weisoon, yeah. City Council Lady Kathy Weisoon is here as well. All right, for the 2-minute opening statement, we will start with Jan Dockery. The microphone, if you would, when that's the rotating microphone, and we're only using one, so we'll pass it down. In other words, Ms. Dockery, when you get through, you'll pass it to Ms. Mabry and so forth.
Good evening. Happy Tuesday. My name is Jan Dockery, and I'm currently City Councilwoman Ward 3 of Lagrange, Texas. I was born and raised in Lagrange, and am a graduate of Lagrange High School class of 1978. I'm a proud mother, mother-in-law, Gigi of my 3 loves, sister, aunt, friend, co-worker, and Christian. You're likely to know me if your children attended Hermes Elementary, where I served as registrar for 28 years. You've seen me locally in local retail for the past 16 years, and I've worked in the restaurant industry for 45 years. I've represented Ward 3 on City Council for the past year and 11 months. I've served on the Lagrange Housing Authority Board, the Lagrange Variance Board Committee, Bed Water Supply Board, Selection Committee for the Chief of Police, Bluebonnet Lions Club member, active member of Lagrange Church of Christ. I've also participated in Relay for Life, Capital 10K, Susan G. Coleman, and Stop the Silence breast cancer walks, American Heart Association, and Wear Red. And I was also a Girl Scout leader for 10 years. As you can see, I've been active in my hometown of Lagrange, Texas all of my life.
Ms. Dockery, now we'll have the 2-minute opening statement for Sarah Mabry.
Thank you. Judge Miller, Gary Dushik, and Mr. Ralph Rosenberg, I want to express my gratitude to you for hosting this candidate forum for all of our friends, neighbors, voters, and listeners across the radio world of KVLG, KBUK 104.9. What you are doing is very important. You're engaging and educating the audiences in voter awareness of candidates who seek to lead the city of Lagrange. I am Sarah Mabry, the mayoral candidate whose education, experience, and expertise will bring strong leadership to the office of Mayor of Lagrange. My higher education includes an undergraduate degree from Sam Houston State University in English and a master's degree in curriculum and instruction from Texas A&M University, followed by many, many hours of additional graduate studies in counseling and guidance. My 45-year professional tour of duty in teaching and counseling includes LaGrange High School, Del Valley High School, and Westlake High School, where all my leadership abilities were tapped. I have made a difference and will continue to do so for the citizens of Lagrange. Now it is my time to bring my formula for leadership to the mayor's office of this city. Transparency, teamwork, civic management, civic engagement, commitment, courtesy, and consistency. All leaders have a vision. I am committed to stewardship of the taxpayers' dollars. I support our local police, and I support our local first responders, as well as our business community. I support safety and health, and I certainly support the success and the elevation of the youth.
Thank you, Mrs. Mabry. Now we will have a 2-minute opening statement from Sandy Hooper.
Hi y'all, thanks for showing up. I am Sandy Hooper. This is the first time I've ever run for an office, ever, in my whole life. So I'm terrified and excited at the same time. One of the reasons I want to run is because I've always loved Lagrange. My brother lives here, my sister-in-law lives here. I've been here multiple times over the years. And when I decided that I needed to move someplace, this was the only place that I chose to move to. I love the community. Some of the personal information about me is that I was born and raised in San Antonio to a military family. I moved here in 2017, as I mentioned, because my brother is here. And I love it here, and I just want to have an opportunity to help Lagrange move forward, be prosperous in the future, and also make an impact on the lives of people here in Lagrange.
Thank you, Ms. Hooper. Now a 2-minute opening statement from Katie Gross.
Hi, thank you all for being here tonight. My name is Katie Gross, and I have lived in Lagrange my whole life. Well, not my whole life, 33 of my 34 years. I graduated from Lagrange High School in 2004 and have worked here and raised a family here. Currently, I have 4 kids. My husband and I have 4 young kids. I've been active in the community since I've been an adult through Texas Women's League, the Amen Food Pantry, Sacred Heart. I've been an ordained elder at First Presbyterian Church, and I am looking forward to running for this office for City Council, Ward 1, and looking forward to serving all of the people of Lagrange, and just really thankful that you're all here tonight and looking forward to it. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Gross. You can hold on to that microphone. You're going to get the first question here. You'll get the first response to the first question, followed by Sandy Hooper, then Sarah Mabry, and then Jan Dockery. The question is, why are you seeking the office, and what are your goals if elected?
I am seeking this office because I believe that community service is something very important to our town. My grandmother was heavily involved in community service here in this community. She lived here pretty much all of her life after attending high school here in Lagrange. And she always taught me that being active in the community and helping the residents of the community is very important. And so that's why now as an adult, my kids are all in school, I decided that I wanted to run for city council to help the residents of Lagrange. Some of my goals are just to represent the constituents of Lagrange and help to make effective policy decisions, looking at budgeting for those policy decisions, and then how those policies are going to be carried out for the city of Lagrange. I hope to be an effective, good, thoughtful, consistent, and dedicated policymaker, legislator, ambassador, and employer as a city council representative.
Thank you, Ms. Gross. Now, Sandy Hooper, the same question. Why are you seeking the office, and what are your goals if elected?
Well, as I mentioned before, it's my first time to run. As I got older in my life, I decided that it was really a good idea to give back to the community. I've lived a lot of places around the world, in the country, and I just think that it's time for me to give back. I love this town. I love the people here. My goals are to do what the people in my district want me to do. Not what I want to do, not what I think is best. I want to do what's best for them. So that's pretty much my reason for running.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Hooper. Now to Sarah Mabry, the same question. Why are you seeking the office, and what are your goals if elected?
I decided to run for the mayor of Lagrange because I believe that we are at a crossroads, not only in this city, but in every city across the nation. If there is ever a time that we need strong leadership, dedication, and public service from those people who have experienced and led teams and been successful in doing so, it is now. We are sitting here. I would say this is the Queen of the Colorado. But we have a lot of challenges because of that location, because of the proximity to not only Austin, but Houston and other major cities in this state. We are vulnerable every day, and we know from experience that trouble rides a fast horse. I want to bring a plan of leadership. I want to bring a plan of dedication to not only my people, but to all people in this state. And I think it starts with local government, and I believe that I can render dedicated and devoted service to this city. Thank you.
Okay, Sarah Mabry. Now, Jan Dockery, the question, why are you seeking the office and what are your goals if elected?
I'm seeking the office of mayor. It's been on my agenda for some years. I wanted to learn, where I first started, I wanted to learn about city government. I wanted to know how the city operated, what made the city operate. I know there's numerous factors that play a part in that, along with our law enforcement, our cities' needs, our citizens. There's major things there. Right now, we're dealing with a lot of businesses that have closed down on the square, so we're needing to adapt to new growth in businesses in town. We need to focus totally on our youth. There's a lot of things for our youth to do here, but it's a lot of outside activities. And as with our younger adults and parents that are raising children here in Lagrange, we need to focus on them as well and get more activities and things for them to do here. We do need to support our local businesses more, just to keep them engaged and keep us informed in things. Also, I want to maintain the character of Lagrange. Like I say, this is my hometown, and I love this town. I raised my daughter, I grew up here, and I never had a desire to live anywhere else in the state of Texas or anywhere as far as that goes. So Lagrange is my hometown, homegrown, and ready to serve my hometown. Thank you.
All right, Ms. Dockery, if you'll hold on to that microphone, you'll be first to answer the second question, which is, do you think there is a need for housing for people 55 years and age or older?
I do think there's a need for housing for 55 years and older. I know we do have housing available in town, but the housing that we have consists of those citizens as well as multifamilies that have young children. So I do feel like our citizens, our senior citizens in town do deserve to have that type of housing. I look forward to helping working with a program if that comes into play. And I know that a lot of the senior citizens would really appreciate just having an area just focused for them and to maintain their living statuses as well.
Okay, thank you, Mrs. Dockery. Now, Sarah Mabry, the same question. Do you think there is a need for housing for people 55 years of age and older?
I believe that that's a very important question. From a business standpoint, I do know that the housing market and housing drives the market. And if investors are coming in, they are going to do their due diligence. They're going to investigate the population. They're going to investigate the income of the city citizens, and they're going to investigate the amenities that are available here. Age 55 and older at one time meant retirement, or at least it qualified you for a senior discount. However, retirement has been prolonged as individuals marry later, they have their children later, they work longer. I myself worked until just about 5 years ago, and I'm proud of every day that I went to work. But I do know this. Housing has to be an issue. It has a group of citizens, a large group in fact, but it was spearheaded by the Lagrange Citizens Alliance. And we saw the need for the survivors of Hurricane Harvey to receive the pledge and the promise that was made to them by an organization. And
15.
Yes, sir, yeah,
You still have 15 seconds.
oh, I'm sorry.
that's right.
Anyway, a group of citizens on our steering committee, we reached out to Samaritan's Purse, and I will never forget the day. We spoke with them over a long period of time, and I will never forget the day that Luther Harrison called and said, can you bring the Citizens Alliance and listen to the phone call that we want to make to you? And that was May 30th of 2019.
Thank you, Mrs. Mabry. Again, Ralph will always wave the flag when there's 15 seconds remaining, and then wave it again when your time has lapsed. All right, Sandy Hooper, the same question. Do you think there is a need for housing for people 55 years of age and older?
I do. People, there's limited housing here in Lagrange anyway, and people who are 55 and older need to feel safe, they need to have an environment that they're comfortable in. And they like to also live within a community where they have something in common with the people that they live with. One of the things that I am concerned about is the housing in general, but yes, there is a need for housing for 55 and older.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Hooper. Now to Katie Gross. The question again, do you think there is a need for housing for people 55 years of age and older?
Yes, I do believe that Lagrange has a need for housing for persons who are 55 and older. I think that it's important when people can age in place, whether that's in their home or with a loved one, and they need to, just like Ms. Sandy said, feel safe. They need to have access to the community resources, whether that's directly on their property or things like HEB, their local physicians. We have really great practicing physicians here in town, and so when those 55 and older have safe, affordable housing, they can get to the doctor better, they can take care of themselves better, and hopefully age in place if that's an option for those. So yes, I do think that there is a need for housing for 55 and older here in Lagrange.
Okay, thank you, Katie Gross. Now we'll go to the next question, and this question will be answered in this order. Sarah Mabry, then Jan Dockery, then Sandra Hooper, and then Katie Gross. The question is, do you believe the downtown area of Lagrange is healthy, and is there anything you would like to see done to improve the downtown area of Lagrange?
First of all, I want to say that I've traveled throughout the state of Texas, and I have seen downtowns closed up, boarded up, closed down, and no visible activity going on. I am proud of the downtown area of Lagrange. We have a beautiful square, but there is always room for improvement. If I am elected mayor, one of the first things that I will do is to meet with all of the businessmen and women around the square to see what they need. We're only going to make a more vibrant and a more robust economy if we do this and we work together. That is my opinion. I am strongly in support of our downtown area. I want to see people shop here. I want to see us live here and give here.
Thank you, Sarah Mabry. Now, Jan Dockery, the question, do you believe the downtown area of Lagrange is healthy, and is there anything you would like to see done to improve the downtown area?
First of all, I want to give kudos to our ladies at the Casino Hall. They do an awesome job. We just had new signage put up, and that signage is awesome all across town. I do think the downtown square is healthy. We have like our shops on the square where you can get your smoothies. We have our coffee shops to cater to those citizens and passerbyers that come through as well. We have a lot of people that like traveling and checking out the coffee spots. We have La Petite on the square, which is great because they have cooking classes when we're open with everything, and that's nice, and I know they offer a lot of the healthy living. We have an excellent chamber, so there's a lot of focus there. And as well as Ms. Mabry, I do want to get with all the merchants in town and see what they're looking for, and if there's anything that we can assist, and hopefully we can have a lot of our buildings that are vacant. I hope they'll be able to be filled soon. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Jan Dockery. Now to Sandy Hooper. The question, do you believe the downtown area of Lagrange is healthy, and is there anything you would like to see done to improve the downtown area?
I do think it's healthy, but I think there's a lot that we can improve on. One of the things I'm really interested in is economic development. There are empty spaces in downtown, and we need to be careful who comes into town. I'm not sure if there's an economic development plan in place. Places that I've lived before, there's usually a 2, 5, and 10-year plan. Progress is going to happen in any city, any state, whether you want it to or not. The idea is to get a handle on it and make sure you control who comes into your town, who comes in, and what kind of businesses come in. And so I think there's some improvement that can be done on the square.
Thank you, Sandy Hooper. Now to Katie Gross, the same question. Do you believe the downtown area of Lagrange is healthy? And is there anything you would like to see done to improve the downtown area?
I do think that the downtown area is healthy, but like a lot of the ladies said, there is room for improvement. Everything always has room for improvement, not necessarily upheave and complete change, but we can always improve. I would like to see all of the buildings full of local business. I think that when we provide activities and things for our own residents to participate in, it just brings the community together even more. And I know that Lagrange does rely on a lot of outside money, and so I think it is important to have each and every one of those buildings full and available to those who do come in and spend time and spend money here. I think our downtown is beautiful. I love passing by, seeing the courthouse. The inside of the courthouse is beautiful, and I want to see it maintained and see all of the buildings continue to be maintained and attractive to not only those who live here, but also those who travel in.
Thank you, Katie Gross. Now we're going to move along to the next question. The order of answering this will be Jan Dockery, Sandra, Sarah Mabry, Katie Gross, and Sandy Hooper. The question is, how have you funded your campaign? About how many campaign contributors do you have?
My campaign has been funded by generous, very generous citizens from the City of La Grange. I've also had donators from outside the city limits as well, and I have a staff that's been working very diligently with me, and I've had lots of positive feedback. So that's where my funds have been coming from.
Thank you, Ms. Dockery. Now to Sarah Mabry. The question is, how have you funded your campaign? About how many campaign contributors do you have?
I am self-funded. I have written all my checks, and I intend to continue to do so. Many people have wanted to contribute to my campaign, and I appreciate each and every one of them. I will always appreciate and express gratitude to those people who have stepped up and believed in me and want to vote and support me. It is, however, my belief that if I am to lead all of the people in Lagrange, if I am to represent each and every part of our city, it is important for me to think, to analyze, to plan, and to execute, and to never go to bed at night with a guilty conscience for having served any one single group.
Thank you, Sarah Mabry. Now, Katie Gross, the question, how have you funded your campaign? About how many campaign contributors do you have?
Just like Mrs. Mabry, I have self-funded, and I have, just to be very transparent, not spent a whole lot of money on campaigning. I have, from the financial aspect, I have taken a lot of advice. I know that's not the same thing as funding, but I have reached out to others to hear their perspective on campaigning and to get opinions on the flyers that I have made. But yes, I just have myself.
Thank you, Katie Gross. Sandy Hooper, the question, how have you funded your campaign? About how many campaign contributors do you have?
I'm self-funded as well. I've gotten a lot of advice from friends here who've given me advice on things that I should do, things that I should speak to, but I'm self-funded.
Thank you, Sandy Hooper. Now we'll go to the last question, question number 5, and after that we'll have our closing statements. The order of questions will be Sarah Mabry, Jan Dockery, Katie Gross, and Sandy Hooper. The question is, what is your experience, if any, in managing a large budget?
I've had a lot of experience in managing a large budget, a large public budget. In 2003, I was called by the Del Valley ISD to create a college and career culture in that high school. Under 10% in 2003 were headed to higher education. And the superintendent asked me to lead a team to create and increase the college higher education culture. It was hard work. He said, I have about $800,000 in the budget. I want you to use that. I want you to build a team. I want you to call in the best counselors, the best team that you can possibly create. And with that $800,000 for college access money, for college access funds, I was able to create a team, and in 10 years, in 3 years, we took it from under 10% to 40%. And then by the year 2013, we took it to 100%. But it was with the management of the money and the decision-making that I and my team made. Yes, it was a lot of money. I wish Lagrange High School had that kind of money. But with that money, I managed it, I made decisions, and we took it to the top. Thank you.
Thank you, Sarah Mabry. Jan Dockery, the same question. What is your experience, if any, in managing a large budget?
I have not had any experience managing a large budget. Therefore, it would take a lot of teamwork. So we'd have to work hand in hand if I was to become the mayor. And I would focus to help with Sean Rayburn, the city manager at this time. And however that plays out, to make sure that all those monies are spent accordingly and everything is in top order. We just need to make sure everything is in the place that it needs to be. I've worked on smaller scales with small budgets, and I'm a perfectionist with that. I have to have it matched to the penny. So Sean would definitely be that team player, as well as the other members of the city, and I look forward to working with them. Thank you.
Okay, Jan Dockery. Now to Katie Gross, the same question. What is your experience, if any, in managing a large budget?
I have experience in managing budgets in the past I have helped to manage budgets for nonprofit organizations such as Texas Women's League and the Amen Food Pantry. And just recently, I have been able to participate in my job and managing that budget as well, and helping to organize and analyze and look at that budget.
Okay, thank you, Katie Gross. Now, Sandy Hooper, the question is, what is your experience, if any, in managing a large budget?
Well, I don't have a lot of experience in managing large budgets. I have been on teams for companies that I've worked for. While I wasn't responsible for the whole budget process, I was involved in the budget process. And I've also worked in banking for about 30 years.
Thank you, Sandy Hooper. All right, that concludes the question portion of our forum tonight. We will have closing statements. The order of closing statements will be Jan Dockery, then Sarah Mabry, then Katie Gross, and then Sandy Hooper. Again, your closing statements, if you could confine it to 2 minutes. Mr. Rosenberg will wave the flag when you have 15 seconds left, and then he'll wave it again when your time has expired. Sarah Mabry.
I want to take this time to remind us that we are all living in historic times. We are not the first to have faced a devastating pandemic. In the late Middle Ages, Europe lost half its population to the Black Plague, and those who could fled to the countryside. Sound familiar? Those left behind in the cities lost not only lives, but their livelihoods. It was an economic depression that set in. As the plague decreased, populations increased, and with that, a demand for goods, services, and tradespeople. Out of the ashes, a new era emerged. Science, learning, exploration, and inventions. The printing press, for example, Gutenberg. It was the internet of the day and time. Broadband today. As we continued to defeat COVID-19 through God, man, and modern medicine, our city, as in cities of old, we will rise from the loss of life and livelihood. We will work together as a city of many people with many gifts and talents. Together, we will thrive and we will survive. Would you step up with me now and join the self-funded Sarah Mabry Mayor campaign? When I am elected, I pledge to the taxpayers of Lagrange that I will not accept the mayor's salary. Those taxpayers' dollars can be better spent on vital needs and necessities that the taxpayers have paid for and deserve. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Sarah Mabry. The closing statement now by Jan Dockery.
As an experienced servant, my ultimate goal in the community is to serve the citizens of my hometown, to adapt to the inevitable growth of businesses on the square, build strong relationships, help to maintain the character of Lagrange, to expand housing choices, and to find solutions to the needs and concerns of the citizens and the city of Lagrange. I'd like to thank J.P. Dan Mueller and Mr. Rosenberg for organizing this forum. Thank you to all of our family and friends and the fine citizens of Lagrange, Texas, where I'm homegrown and ready to serve my hometown as your next mayor. So on that note, early voting begins Monday, April 19th. Election day is Saturday, May 1st. So raise your voice and vote Jan Dockery your choice. My motto is act justly, love mercy, and walk humbly. Micah 6:8. Thank you.
Thank you, Jan Dockery. The closing 2-minute statement now for Katie Gross.
Once again, I want to thank everybody for being here, whether you're here in person or watching on Facebook or listening on the radio. Thank you all for caring about Lagrange. Thank you all for wanting what's best for our town. And if I am elected to represent on City Council for Ward 1, I promise to be open, willing to learn, willing to work together, consistent, confident, and to remain dedicated to the citizens and our community. Thank you.
Thank you, Katie Gross, and now the closing statement for Sandy Hooper.
As I said in the beginning, I want to be a part of a prosperous LaGrange, and I want to make an impact on the people that live here. And given the opportunity, I will work hard, and I will learn what I need to learn, and do the best for the community.
Thank you. Thank you all, and that concludes our forum. We appreciate and thank those tuned in by way of radio and by Facebook. And we hope this has been an informative process tonight. The candidates probably will be around a little bit longer. If you'd like to visit with them, we ask y'all, please consider wearing your mask if you visit with them or anyone else, and thank you for coming. Chief David Gilbert, thanks again. Ralph Rosenberg, in closing words?
That's it.
Class is dismissed.
Be sure to vote.
Yeah, exactly, vote.